Hi, I'm Alex, and you might see this because you're an old subscriber. I used to do booktube years ago now. When I went to uni for library school, I did a lot of booktube. I watched a lot of booktube. I still watch a few favorites, and I still read. And I'm still a librarian, I guess, so it's still my interest, but I stopped filming. And the last year or so, I've been really into watching knitting videos or other crafts. I like any type of homestead video. I love watching like cozy people crafting, making their own things. And my favorite channels are the ones doing both. Both crafts and reading. So I thought I'd try and do the same. Yeah, I need to look at this if the sound is okay. Doing like a first episode, it feels difficult to do the regular knitting podcast regime. So I think I'll just talk about what I'm knitting currently and what I'm reading currently, because that feels the most fun. Doing a few test knits and a few other smaller projects. I like having different type of things. Just like with my reading, I read several books at once, or I like shifting whenever my mood shifts. And knitting is also a practical thing. Like I like knitting on the tram and the train to work, so I need something that I can bring. A few projects are easier than others, not just because of the size, but also the yarn and how many colors, those kind of things. And some stuff are more boring. So I'd rather do those on the tram, maybe, like, you know, something that you need to concentrate, that's more fun, you want to do maybe at home, getting cozy, treating yourself to concentrate on the knitting, not just doing stockinette in the round. I forgot a test knit, so I'm gonna grab that. I'm feeling quite rusty. Just filming in the English and talking to myself. I can't see myself, which is good actually. It's nice. So I'm not sure. I mean, I guess I should introduce myself maybe a little. So my name is Alex, or Alexandra. Most people call me Alex. I live in Sweden, in the West Coast. I'm a librarian. I work mainly with teens, young adults. So I do book clubs, writing workshops, different type of activities. I buy books and games, write reviews. I also work with the website and the Instagram and everything, the social networking, and I like it. I'm very happy with my job and what I get to do with my job, even though it can also be very stressful and hard. A lot of people think being a librarian is the most chill work, and I hear people wanting to change careers and do something easier and more slow, and thinking about becoming a librarian, and it's just no. It's not. It's so much more. It's a lot of social work. You need to be a social person. I'm an introvert. I'm a social introvert. It takes a lot of energy for me, but I feel it feels good. I feel like I'm doing something good. Working at a library, the democracy aspect of libraries, I feel, are very important. Doing things for kids that might not be able to afford other activities feels very important. Yeah, I could talk loads about it. So I like my job, and yeah, like the last year I've been really into knitting. When I find a new hobby, I very easily just hyper focus on it. I did the same when I first found the Bujo thing, and I can do the same with games, PS4 or Sims, reading, flowers, stuff like that. So I can get very, but knitting has been, it's been a while that I've been so invested. And I think it's because you can learn so many different things, and there's so many different options. Either it's the pattern or type of thing that you're knitting, if it's garments, accessories, homey stuff, baby stuff, gift knitting, self knitting. There's also tons of different types of materials, plant-based, wool, acrylics. You can dive into so many things, techniques. So it keeps me, because I'm knitting to feel grounded. I think that's why I started along during the pandemic, like a lot of other people. So I knit for myself. I don't want to knit, like, I get very, I'm grateful if someone's asking me, can you knit this for me? I'll pay or whatever. But I'm knitting to calm myself down, my nerves, and I have mental issues. So knitting is really good for me, and I don't want it to be stressful. But it's still, you know, indulging in your keeping curious and creative, because you can learn all these different things, and sometimes it's super hard and frustrating, but I got to know people who also like knitting just as much as me, and I got new friends who have shared their wisdom with me, and I started watching you guys, and it's just, yeah, I'm really liking it. It's not like I learned knitting last year. Before library school, I studied tailoring, sewing, textiles, for 3 years, fashion design arts. And I learned to knit as a kid in school, and I knitted a little during this fashion design years, but I wasn't in, I loved sewing, I loved tailoring. That was my jam. I did a little knitting, but I got, because I wasn't too great with it, I got scared whenever something went wrong. So it took me until last year to make my first garment. I've knitted, I had a few years during uni where I crocheted a lot of accessories and blankets and stuff, and I also knitted a ton of hats. Yeah, but last year was my first garment, like a sweater, and I was so proud. And I got help from friends and Instagram friends, and since then I haven't stopped. I also learned to knit socks, the heels, in 2020, the end of 2020, and it just got me feeling more confident, like I can do this. And I'm in love with it. I truly love it a lot, and I've always been into making my own clothes and buying secondhand and all these things. So knitting is just another thing in that aspect, like being conscious of the environment and the world we live in and the consumerism. I'm not gonna get into it now. I'm rambling because I'm kind of nervous. I'm fiddling with this Sophie scarf, which is a finished object made in a lovely yarn, because I don't have anything I can knit on while talking, so that's why I have this here. It's like a you know. But this is a new pattern. I feel like everyone's making one. This is knit in one strand of Nutiden and one strand of silk mohair that I had at home. Silk mohair is in beige, and the Nutiden is from Pissling Pose, a color I didn't pick, but I'm happily surprised by it. It's Languster. So it's a mix of, it's like a beige with a mix of purple and yellow flecks in it. So I'm really happy to have this, actually, even though I didn't think I would like this color. And I used half the sample that I got. I got 50 grams and this is 25 grams of the Nutiden. I knitted this with larger sized needles, 3.5, I think. I think it's large. No, it's the right needle for the pattern. And I really like it. I did not block this. No, I didn't block this. I don't think I will. And it's funny because I took a picture of this with a book that's got the same colors on the front, and in the picture it looks very purple. And I see the purple, but I also see the yellow flecks popping up a lot. But my partner, she thinks this is purple. So it looks different to different people, I guess, and that's the charm of Nutiden, I would say. Since I live at the west coast of Sweden, Nutiden is actually pretty local to me, and I love their yarn, both to knit with and wear, but also the company and the values Caroline and Knut have. I think it's great that they actually use Swedish sheep's wool, because a lot of it gets burned because it's not as nice as merino like everyone wants. Yeah, lovely yarn. so I'm gonna show you what I'm knitting on. I'm knitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 current whips. This is a test knit. It's a pullover, and I finished one sleeve and started the second one. And this is a test knit for Sara, who is Handverkat on Instagram, and I think they made a Raverly as well now. And this is their first pattern to be released at least, so it's the first test knit they put out, and it's a lovely 2x2 rib. The whole thing is 2x2 rib, so it's bottom, no, top down. And this is in a yarn from Svarta Fåret called Giva, which gives a small amount to like a organization for kids. It's a alpaca and wool blend, super wash unfortunately, but I love the color, which is affogato. I love Italian foods. I mean, I'm vegan, but I eat plant-based, but still Italian. I like pasta. I love the color. I love the fit so far. So I still got a little left. I knitted this monogamously for the beginning, and I got some wrist pain actually, so I'm taking a break and I'm doing a little here and there just because it's only a rib. I haven't had that trouble before, so we'll see. But I did basically finish the test part because it was at least the yoke and one arm, and I'm gonna try and finish all of it soonish. Second test knit I'm doing is for Credia Studio. I think she's Norwegian, and this is the pie camisole. It's on very small needles. So the yoke was actually fast and the ribbing quick, even though this is some 2mm and this is 2.5, but the body part is gonna take me a while. But I basically finished the test for this as well, because it was the yoke and the ribbing, because that was the most important part to see if it fits, and it fits so good. It's so good. And this is made in their recommended yarn, which was Easy Care by Mayflower. And this was a yarn that I already had at home because I got it from a yarn store close to my job, who had it on sale. And this is still one of my favorite colors, but starting knitting I almost only got this type of color. Plums and lilac. So, and this is a fingering, I think. It's actually not, I would say it's more fingerings, yeah, a fingering. And it was supposed to be done last of August, but she prolonged the test knit, and so I'm guessing maybe end of September, I hope, because it's beautiful fit. So I hope everything works out. I haven't found any trouble with this pattern, so it's lovely. I can't wait to wear it. This might be a bit warm. I would love to make this in a silk or soft, if I can find a soft plant-based kind of thing. So that's the second test knit. Yeah, I'm knitting the size 4 or large in all these patterns. I have a 105 centimeter bust, and I'm 167 centimeters tall. And this is the Linden cardigan by Melody Hoffman in knitted in yarn Mening. Beautiful color, and I love this stitch pattern. I just finished the back. I split for sleeves yesterday. This is taking me forever. I split for sleeves yesterday, and I finished the back piece this morning and just started the front right. I love the slip stitch structure. I really like this slip stitch by the bottom band, and this is a bottom up. I have mixed feelings about this. We had to rip out the start of this test, and ripping out knitted, and I mean, it's my fault for choosing knitted, but yeah, I love how it's turning out, so I can't wait to wear this. I can't wait. It's gonna be fucking gorgeous. But I'm not having the loveliest time knitting on it because I'm a bit frustrated, but I'm loving how it's turning out now when it's almost done. The yarn is Mening from a few months ago, and from the start when I saw a picture of this cardigan pattern, I knew I really wanted to make this one. This is my first pattern that I'm knitting by her. I wanted to make the tulip cardigan and a lot of other stuff, but this is my first one. And as soon as Caroline showed this color, I knew I wanted to make this cardigan, Linden cardigan, in this yarn. So I bought a 300-gram bag, and then I saw on Instagram that a Melody put up a testing call for this. I haven't seen her do that before on Instagram, and it's also said the pattern would only release on Patreon, and I'm not a patron. So I was like, oh my god. So I signed up for test knit, even though it's a bit short on time, because I really wanted to knit this cardigan in this yarn that I bought for this cardigan. And then I wasn't sure if I'm knitting one strand, and I wasn't sure if 300 grams would be enough, so I actually bought a second bag of 300 grams in this. And now I'm thinking it might be enough, but I mean, it doesn't bother me to have leftovers of knitted. Who doesn't want that? This is not natural color. This is a dyed color, but I really like it. And I'm getting really into browns. I'm not a huge gray person, light gray. I think it's stylish, but I feel like the warmer type of neutrals suit me better. I like warm colors in general, I think. Not always, but yeah. It's just, yeah. So I can't wait to finish this. I'm almost only knitting on this one at home. I don't bring this on the tram because it's just unspun yarn. and this is knit on 4.5, but it's still slow. Put this here. I think this is my 4th cup of coffee this morning. I want to show you the book that matches this scarf. This one, isn't it beautiful? It's a new book. It's about rye, and I'm half Finnish, and I grew up eating a lot of rye bread. I prefer rye for my porridge instead of oatmeal. I think they're very pretty. Non-fiction book by 2 Swedish-Finnish authors, and I haven't started it yet, but I'm very interested to read it, to learn more about rye, but also about Finnish history. And the second book that I plan to read this fall, I've borrowed these from the library. It's another Helen Oyeyemi book, which has this beautiful cover. I love Helen Oyeyemi. She writes these types of gothic, spooky stories about people. I feel like they have like this spooky plot, but they are also very character driven, and I really love her. And White is for Witching was super good, so I hope I can concentrate enough to actually sit and read this, because I've been doing a lot of audiobooks last year. I have trouble sitting down and reading. This is Gingerbread. Another whip that I have is for the Skulls and Shrooms cowl, by 2 lovely creators, and I'm making these Raven Light gloves. There's not much to it yet. I've never knitted a full pair of gloves. These are fingerless, and these are made in this holds super soft in almond. I love this type of white, and this yarn is lovely, truly lovely. And the second yarn is this gorgeous purple. This is probably my favorite purple all time, and this feels so good. It's Harvest Hues Fingering by Jon Arben Textiles. I got this from a tea stash, because I'm not gonna order the type of yarn to be shipped here. I got it from a tea stash here in Sweden, and I love it. It's so soft. It's Falkland Merino and Schwarbels, and the color is amazing. It shifts a little. It's truly beautiful, and everything I own is covered with cat hair. I can't be bothered, so yeah. So I'm pairing these, and they make lovely gloves, hopefully. So it's gonna be like a raven skull with shrooms. We'll see if I finish during the cowl or not. I already had this pattern, so I wanted to join, and I want mittens. Yeah, I made 1 pair of mittens last year, actually. The Hydra mitts by Fiber Tales. Yeah, I can't wait to wear them. And this yarn is yeah. And then I'm also knitting a pair of socks. With a pattern from Fiber Tales. It's the Gro sock. I'm knitting 2 at a time. I've had this on pause during the summer for some reason. I'm actually gonna start the heel flap and gusset here. I really like the Gro pattern, and it's made in Regia 4-ply. This burgundy red color that I had at home. Can't wait to finish these. I love wearing knitted socks. And I have another active whip which I just started after finishing my Sophie, because I knitted 2 Sophie scarves, and then I was starting a 3rd just to have something going for the tram and traveling to work, and because so I started a Sophie scarf, but then I ripped it out because I felt like I want to try and do another scarf. So I started another pattern that's gonna be like this vintage style scarf. It's a free pattern. I'll put the name in this yarn that I also got from a D-stash, which is Svarta Fåret Lamb's wool, or is it, no, it's Llama, soft Llama fine in beige. It's very soft, so it's gonna be cuddly. So I think I'll continue. These are driftwood needles, 3.5. A book that I read this summer that I want to recommend is this. I know this came out a few years ago. I saw people talk about it on BookTube 2018. I listened to it this summer and I loved it so much. I had a book hangover after. So this is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Tessa Morsveg, and it's about a young woman, a graduate, Columbia graduate. She lives in Manhattan and she just decided to sleep for a year. She's got a friend who interrupts her. She finds a therapist and makes up a condition, and she gets all sorts of pills from this therapist to try out, and she lies about her what she does on these meds just to get more so she can sleep for longer, and she finds herself doing things unconsciously while on the drug, and basically locks herself up for the last couple of months, and it's super weird, amazing. I love it. It's like nothing else I've read. If you have anything close to this type of weird, ridiculous, truly provocative but amazing woman character, please let me know. I can't recommend this more. It's I loved it so much. I know it's not for everyone. I know people hate this book. I love this book. I loved it so much. If you've read it, let me know what you think. I think that's it for this time. I have more whips on pause, and I think think I'll talk about those in the next video. And if you want to share books or anything else, maybe recommend something to watch while knitting during the fall, please leave me a comment, and take care until next time.